Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the...
Sorry.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Leavenworth Preservation Commission meeting for Wednesday. I'd like to thank all of those that are telephonically coming in, and I'd like to thank also the guests that we have sitting in with us this evening. First of all, I'm going to establish if we have a quorum. Okay, great. And since we have a quorum, have all of you had a chance to review the minutes of the previous meeting?
Yes.
Yes? Yes. Ed, have you and Sherry had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then I will entertain a motion reference those minutes, please.
So move they be
Yes,
approved.
Rick, this is Ed. I make the motion that we accept the minutes of June 3rd, 2020.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
I'll second it. Sherry Whitten.
So it's been moved and properly second. We'll go around and we'll start with Dick first, sir.
Aye.
Sherry?
Aye.
Ed?
That's what I thought.
Aye.
And myself, I also. So the minutes have been approved. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. And as the rest of the entire country, we're still working with our technical challenges, but that's a good thing.
I think we got the speakers.
Okay, I think we got those. All right. Let's see. Did that. It's my understanding we don't have any old business in front of us, if that's correct. So let us proceed to the staff report.
Okay, Jackie Porter is going to handle this item.
All right, thank you. The applicant and owner, Mr. Richards, is renovating the second floor of the property located at 325 Delaware to add a living space to be occupied by his family. Previously, the second floor of the property has been used for storage. The first floor of the property is currently occupied by Island Spice Restaurant, which is also owned and operated by Mr. Richards. To add access to the second floor living space, Mr. Richard added a staircase and an exterior door to the north side of the property facing Delaware. Y'all probably would like to see it.
Gotta share your screen first.
Oh. Okay. Why won't I share it? Why won't it let me?
Go back into your share screen.
Options?
No. No, go back. Click on the share screen again.
There's a lot of static
Okay,
on the
click it.
line.
Yeah, Ed, can you mute, please? Go back to share screen.
Come on, do it, little mouse. Okay.
Okay, click on applications. And click on the one you want.
Okay. Okay, that's the one I want to do right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'd minimize that so that's all on the screen. Now, on the PDF.
PDF, minimize. What do you mean?
They can see your whole screen.
Okay, so they see this too?
Yeah. No, they're just seeing your screen up there in the corner. I would minimize the PDF a little bit.
Oh, make
The
it smaller?
percentage, yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
I see what you're saying. Oh, well,
Yeah, no, in the PDF, the percentage, like it's 139%, take it down to 100% or something.
yeah, that, okay.
Okay.
All right, I see what you're saying. All right. Okay, now that you see it. This is what the building looked prior. Da-da-da. Okay, let me.
That's it.
Yes.
Let me rotate this bad boy. Okay. Okay, everyone. Okay, to add access to the second floor living space, Mr. Richards added a staircase and exterior door on the north side of the property facing Delaware Street. The addition of this door removes existing window and replaced them with a sheetrock and tan steel door, which is not consistent with historical nature of the building. The applicant is proposing to replace the existing door with another door featuring iron scroll work. In February of 2020, staff became aware that Mr. Richards was performing the work on the second floor of the building without applicable building permits and approvals, and had a stop work order was issued. After review of the interior work, what had been completed, a minor certificate of appropriateness was issued to cover the work that was, well as the future installation of a fire escape on the rear of the building. It was determined that the only changes requiring review for the Leavenworth Preservation Commission and the approval of a major certificate of appropriateness are the modifications to the exterior of the building consisting of removing the existing windows and installation of the door and sheetrock. Mr. Richards understands that any future alterations to the exterior of the property will require review by the Preservation Commission prior to work commencement. So there's that part. Do I read this next? Yes. Okay. The required reviews for this property. Number one, a property shall be used for its historical purpose or be placed in a new use that requires minimal changes to the defining characters of the building and its site and environment. The existing structure has undergone a physical change by replacing an existing storefront window to a doorway. The structure has undergone some cosmetic changes. The stone base and the window have been removed and replaced with a door. And then number two, the historic character of the property shall be retained and preserved. The removal of the historic materials or alterations or features and spaces that characterize the property shall be avoided. The proposed renovation has compromised the integrity of the historical significance of the property by removing an existing window and stone base. Number three, each property shall be recognized as a physical record of its time, place, and use. Changes that create a false sense of historical development, such as adding conjectural features, architectural elements that other buildings shall not be undertaken. The current door is a basic tan galvanized steel door. The type of door does not create a false sense of historic architectural elements. However, it is not consistent with the style of the building. The proposed future door as matte black clear iron scroll work door. This type of door would create a false sense of historical architectural element as it does not accurately represent the historical period of the building. And then, I guess if y'all want to see it, it was, where'd it go? Here.
There.
So that's what it's. Well, why won't it let me? But anyway, here's the door. All right, number four, most properties change over time. Thus changes have acquired historical significance in their own right shall be retained and preserved. There have been prior changes to the building. It appears the storefront was repainted and an awning was added between April 2017 and May 2018. There are no minor certificates on file for this work. It appears a portion that is currently green. Let me scroll up.
There.
Yeah, so this is, is there not a counter? No, give me a couple clicks. Okay, so this is April 2017. And then this is May 2018.
Yes.
There was no minor certificate on file for this work. It appears that the portion that is currently green was painted tan prior to May 2018. A mural was painted on the back of the building and was approved by the Leavenworth Planning Commission in August 2019. Number 5, distinctive features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that were characterized that characterize a historical property shall be preserved. It appears that the existing historic features, finish, or construction techniques will be altered. The stone base of the window has been removed. Number 6, deteriorated historic features shall be repaired rather than replaced. Where the severity of the deterioration requires replacement of the distinctive features, and a new feature shall mark the old in design, color, texture, and other visual qualities. And where possible, materials, replacement of these features shall be oh my goodness. Whatever, by documentary, physical, or pictorial evidence. The changes that has occurred has altered the exterior of the building by removing the stone base and window. These changes currently do not match the facade of the building, and the proposed future door will not match the facade of the building. Number 7, chemical or physical treatments such as sandblasting that cause damage to historic materials shall not be used. The surface cleaning of structures, if appropriate, shall be undertaken using the gentlest means possible. So there will be no chemical or physical treatments that are proposed. Number 8, the significance of archaeological resources affected by the project shall be protected and preserved. If such resources must be disturbed, mitigation measures shall be undertaken. There are no known significant archaeological resources exist for preservation. Number 9, new additions, exterior alterations of related new constructions shall not destroy historic materials that characterize the property. The new work shall be differentiated from the old and shall be compatible with the masses, size, scale, and architectural features to protect the historic integrity of the property and its environment. The changes that have occurred have altered the historic materials and the detail that characterize the property. Number 10, new additions and adjacent or related new construction shall be undertaken in such a manner that is, if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historic property and its environment would not be unimpaired. The removal of the window and stone base and addition of sheetrock and the steel door have been undertaken in such a way that the integrity of the facade has been compromised. Their future removal will require extensive work to restore the historical integrity of the facade. Oh, recommendations? Oh, y'all might want to know that too. All right, staff recommendations. Staff recommends that the item be tabled to allow the applicant time to propose a design for the altered area of the facade that would be more consistent with the historical design of the building. Now I'm done.
Why don't you go down to the current picture of it?
Oh, yes. All right, I gotta rotate again.
Okay, and we do have the applicant on, online as well to ask questions and speak to.
So don't I have to present it to the open forum first?
You can talk to the applicant first if you'd like, and then open the hearing. It's up to you if you'd like to talk to the applicant first.
Okay. Then we'll go with talking to the applicant. Hello, Mr. Richards, how are you?
Good evening, sir. How are you? I am doing pretty well.
Okay, good. So you have heard the recommendations coming from our staff. Is there any input that you would like to make, please?
Yes, so Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you so much for taking the time to hear my case. I am Dave Richards. I'm an active duty service member. I'm originally from Jamaica. I think in the opening remarks, it was said that I'm from Africa. I'm from Jamaica. Island Spice Jamaican Restaurant is a restaurant, of course, that I bought to Leavenworth, Kansas. The intent is to make Leavenworth, Kansas my home with my family. This building in question was established, to my knowledge, in the 1800s. And as we can see, there's actually two floors. There's a ground floor, as well as a second floor. I will tell you, currently there's zero access to the second floor. So when I purchased this building, I purchased it on the understanding that I'll be able to have my business on the ground floor and then have my family live on the second floor with me. I have 3 children at home, 2 that will be going to college here shortly, which will leave my wife and I and our youngest son home. So it's a lot more convenient for us to live at the upstairs of that building, since we own the building, versus living separate in a separate building. It's just not, it's cost prohibitive at this point to do so. So I understand the importance of maintaining the integrity of the structure of the building based on the Preservation Commission. But at the same time, there has to be some way for me to get to the second floor, because that's where we live. And currently, like I said before, previously to us putting that entrance there, which is, by the way, is temporary, there was no way for us to access the second floor. The building next to me, I think it's 323, is owned by Mr. Dave Hart. And my intent is to have a similar entrance to what he already has on that building, to be in compliance with the Preservation Committee's guidelines to maintain the historical integrity of Leavenworth. Any questions? Really, that's all I have at this point.
Okay. Do any of my board members have a question that they'd like to address to Mr. Richards at this time?
Not at this moment.
Ed or Sherry, do you have any questions that you would like to address to Mr. Richards?
I was just wondering the time frame of when he was thinking he was going to change that door out to the wrought iron.
Okay, so I can address that. So at this point, we were on standby, just waiting for the approval to install that door. And at this point, I do have, currently as we speak, we have approval to do construction on the second floor, which is ongoing. And once that's completed, I would say in another 30 days or so, then we should be able to install that door. Again, I'm not locked in on that door. If there's a particular door that you guys would like to see, we're okay with that. I just need to be able to access the second floor, because that's where my home will be. And right now, there's absolutely no way to access that second floor. I will tell you, when that building was built in the 1800s, there was 3 doors. From my understanding, there were 3 entries. One entry to the second floor, one entry to the second floor, and then 2 entries on the first floor. So over the years, some way, somehow, those entrants on the second floor on the first floor, were removed. And the one that you see on the first floor actually went to the second floor. The middle one actually went to the second floor. So the 2 on the end, there were 2 on the ends, one where I reopened, the one on the left. There was also one on the right. So over the years, the building was modified to remove 2 entrances, 2 of the 3 entrances. And all I'm doing is opening up one on the left that was previously there. But to answer your question, ma'am, I'm hopeful that within 30 days or so, we should be able to install that door on the second floor, on the first floor.
Thank you very much.
Ed, do you have any questions at this time? If not, I'll move to Dick, sir.
Mr. Richards, you indicate that the second floor would become your residence. Are you living there now?
Right. So I'm not presently living there, sir. I'm actually living in, and I can't remember the name of the place right now, forgive me, but it's right across from Walmart. So I'm currently living in Leavenworth, but I plan to vacate that premises and live at 325 Delaware Street.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So I'm going to, at this time, I'm going to, since there are no other questions. Go
Ed,
ahead.
did you have some comments or questions?
Yeah, Julie, this is for Julie. I think Mr. Richards has got a pretty good game plan going. I see no problem with that. The way he has it set up, Julie, do you have any problems with that?
With having a door to the exterior?
Yes.
No, I think the main concern is just the appearance of the door, and just, picking a style of door that would fit in more with the nature of the building and that, streetscape there. But in terms of having a door there to access the second floor of the building, no, there's not an inherent problem with that in itself.
Okay, yeah, I have no other questions. That's good.
Okay. Since I don't have any questions at this time, I'm going to open it up since we have guests in the room. Are you here to voice something in support of the effort, or are you just here to observe?
Primarily to observe.
Okay.
I'll speak in favor of the modifications. I don't like them.
Go to the microphone,
Would
sorry.
you come over to the microphone, please?
Yep,
and
just state your name.
State your name.
Tom Lahan. I'm all in favor of him putting the apartments upstairs. And so my question for you, the Preservation Committee was, did you do your research to find out whether or not there was doors on the front to go up to the second floor originally?
When I was trying to find it, the historic preservation site was down, and it was down for several days, so.
Well, I did the inspection on the building when the gentleman bought it, and it was obvious that the second floor had entrances off of Delaware. So there should be no reason to tell him he can't have a door on the front, but the condition of the door is just totally out. I agree with that part. That's all I wanted to say. I just want to make sure that you guys understood that it really did have doors there to begin with, and somewhere through the years they were removed to make it all one storefront. And the second floor has been abandoned for at least, I don't know, probably 40 years. And there was absolutely no access to the second floor. We just found a hole.
So there was no interior staircase?
No.
At all?
I had to get up to the second floor through a hatch about this
Yeah.
big with a straight up and down ladder that I brought.
Yeah.
So it looked like it was originally living quarters to begin with. So I just want to make sure that you understood that it really did have doors on Delaware.
Well, I really do appreciate that. Thank you, because being our old downtown area, you have to have some way to get to the floor. Yes, sir, would you care to make a comment? And if you'd come to the mic and give us your name, please?
Dave Hart. I own the property at 319 and 321 Delaware, and I've owned 319 Delaware since 1972. Approximately that time, Dale Quisenberry, who had Leavenworth floor covering, purchased that building and took out the center staircase. The staircase to the second floor was in the center, came all the way down to the street. And on both sides of it, there were storefront doors going into the storefront. He put the facade on there to move his business there because he was preparing to sell it. So that's about how long it's been, hasn't had a door going upstairs. And I've talked to the last three owners, first thing before they started doing anything, put the staircase back in before you start your renovations, and nobody's listening until now. So obviously that door is not appropriate for a historic building, but that whole facade, the lower facade, is not historic anyhow, I guess, unless you count from something from 1970 being historic. It's going to be an improvement to get going with something upstairs. The key is Mr. Richards has not been very good about having permits and those kind of things done before he starts work. He's kind of lucky that EPA in Kansas is pretty weak, because the way they did demo for the second floor in a lot of states would have cost him a $50,000 fine. I'm in the paint business, so I know of those kind of things that have happened. So he needs to kind of tighten up how he does things and follow some the procedures. We need to make sure we have legitimate permits to do things. He's gonna have to have sprinkler systems on the second floor now. That's part of the new codes. So we just want to make sure that those things are done. I want to protect my property to the east, that everything's done by licensed plumbers, electricians, heating, everything's done up to code. And so I wish him well. There were doors there historically, so there's no question about that. They were in the center of the panels, not to the edge, but I don't see that that makes much difference at this point. That building has been altered enough that you're not going to get a real historic front. So, but I wish him well, and I think it's going to be a good thing to happen. So,
Well, thank you very much. So I guess on our part, Ms. Porter, I guess we're going to have to try to get some kind of drawings or etchings of what the building looked like at some point, so we can establish that. Yes, we have the district, and right off the top of my head, I don't know when we designated the downtown area as the specifics of being in that historic criteria. But as it is now, what we're challenged with is reviewing what's presented and attempting to render an opinion. If there are no other inputs, I will close the open portion of the hearing and defer to my colleagues for some recommendations on how we should move forward.
I think the staff recommended that we table this for further review,
Yes.
and I would make a motion to that point, that we table.
So it might be helpful for the applicant if you had some suggestions for a type of door or design that would be more acceptable for this location, if any of the board members had input on that.
Well, as a part of the motion, that we table it and that you all check your records as to how far back we can go to where it's determined one is a historical district. And at that point, what was the door makeup of that historical district?
I believe the downtown historic district was put in place in the 80s, and so I think I would have to look. I don't think that's in your policy report. So, I mean, by that point, it sounds like the facade had already been altered by the time this district was already established. We can certainly check with the Historic Society and see if they have any older pictures of this block on Delaware. We can sometimes get pictures from them that way. But again, it would be beneficial to the applicant if any of the board members had some input on what type of door might be acceptable, since you'll be the ones voting on this when he comes back, regardless of, what it might have looked like 30 or 40 or 80 or 100 years ago.
So
if he had some direction and a type of door to price out and to look for.
But right now, the staff is not condoning the alternate door design.
Correct.
Okay. Then my motion is that we table and bring back to the next meeting what an appropriate door would look like. I mean, Mr. Richards needs to have that information. He needs to move forward with that. And so that's my motion.
So you've heard the motion, Ed and Sherry. I need a second.
I'll second it. This is Sherry Whitson.
Sherry, could you say that one more time, please?
This is Sherry Whitson. I'll second the motion.
Okay. It's been moved and properly seconded that we adhere to the staff recommendation and table any action and send some recommendations to Mr. Richards' reference to finding a door that is time sequencing more palatable than the one that they have out there right now.
So I'll just some input, just before you vote. Given that the facade has been altered over the last decades, and this isn't how it looked when it was first constructed. I might even suggest something that's more similar to the existing door in the middle, with the steel frame and the glass. Then it would fit in with the existing facade. You've got those existing windows and the doors. So just adding a door that would fit in more with that, might, improve the appearance and keep up with, that existing aesthetic.
So would you care to amend your motion, sir, or would you like it to stand as it is?
No, I'd let it stand, and that's the information they need to take back as a staff and meet with Mr. Richards to work that out.
Yeah, and we can work with the applicant. I think, again, as long as he knows, sort of what the commission is looking for, so we can make sure we're giving him appropriate guidance and working with him over the next couple of weeks.
Okay, then I will call for a vote. I will start with you, Dick, please.
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Sherry?
Aye.
Rick and I. So we're in agreement with that we're going to table this. Mr. Richards, I appreciate the fact that you have contacted us, and we hope that you will recontact our staff so we can attempt to provide you some assistance and some additional guidance on at least trying to come up with the idea that maybe the new door that you're going to put into place will be visually consistent with the one that you have already in the center, while we as a organization do some additional research to find out what the building looked like between when it started and today before they modified the facade. Do you have any other questions for us, sir?
No, none at this time. I appreciate your time and your effort and the support of the staff. Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll get with Mr. Richards this week, and start talking about some options, so we can get him back before you for the next meeting.
Okay, and if I can add just one additional positive comment that we received in input, I encourage you, Mr. Richards, to make sure that you get whatever the necessary permits that are going to permit you to go forward with doing any of the work at all, which is just one of the safety aspects for you as well as the resident tenants on either side of you. If there's nothing else, sir, thank you very much for phoning in so that we may be able to address the specific.
So I acknowledge all and I will comply. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay. Well, I think that was our main point of business. We have a couple certificates of appropriateness which we're not required to vote on. I read through the rest of this and I saw where he's indicated that there's going to be some fire preventative stuff placed in the second floor, but right now the only area that we're empowered to overview is the facade out front.
Yep, and so our building inspection division handles any fire suppression or building code requirements at the time of building permits, so they'll make sure all of those requirements are met.
Okay, thank you. So if there's nothing else to come before us, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
Sherry and Ed?
This is Sherry Whitson. I second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that we adjourn our meeting. I'm going to start with you, Ed, first.
Aye.
Sherry, please.
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
And Rick, aye. And it has been a unanimous that we are shutting down for the evening. And as always, I'd like to thank the staff for all the work that you do to support any effort that we're trying to accomplish on the evening. So thank you. This has been the Leavenworth Preservation Commission for the
Sounds like we will have a meeting next month
We will?
with this
Yeah, since you
to
tabled
bring
it.
back for you, so yes.
Okay. Well, thank you all, everyone, very, very much, and be safe.
Oh, yep, we have another item for
Thank
the
you all.
too next month, so
Have a
yep.
great week.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
see you
Thank
guys
you,
next
too.
month.
Bye.